Professional services in general and creative services in particular are a really challenging space. There's, for one, there's lots of competition, both direct and indirect. You're competing against people not doing this work at all. You're competing against them doing it themselves. You're competing against, having the admin person or the intern do it. You're competing against freelancers. You're competing against other agencies. You're competing against people in New Zealand, and you're competing with people outside of New Zealand. You're competing with niche firms based in bigger countries that charge more, but provide a much more narrow, much more focused service. And you're competing with really low cost provide agencies and freelancers through the likes of Upwork that'll do stuff for $5 an hour or less. On top of this, the barriers to entry are minuscule, particularly for creative services. At least for stuff like law or accounting, there's there's compliance barriers. I can't just call myself a lawyer and make a website called Sam's Law Firm and start taking on clients and giving them advice. I can do that, and anyone can do that for creative services like digital marketing. So anyone with a Squarespace or a WordPress account can compete with you. So this is really challenging. This is even more challenging for the firm I'm going to talk about today. This is a firm called Digitella. They are a digital marketing firm for small to medium-sized businesses. So not only do they have all of that stuff, all those challenges that I spoke about before, they also are dealing with businesses that may not have enormous budgets. It's not like a larger agency who sells services to the likes of big banks, big telecommunications companies, big utilities, government agencies, where one or two clients a year can keep your whole team really busy. It's not like that, because for those firms, their website actually isn't that important. It's important to have a presence, but in terms of actual lead generation, you can keep yourself pretty busy just with networking and relationships and so on if you only need a few per year. When you're selling to small businesses, the average revenue from each client is a lot lower, which means to stay busy, you need more clients, which in turn means you need more leads, which means you need a better website that really works hard to turn your traffic into qualified leads and turn those leads into customers. So it's a lot. It's a tall order. This is a website that needs to do a whole lot of heavy lifting for Digitella. So that's the context that we're working in. In these videos, I'm going to give 3 points of feedback that I think can help Digitella make this website a lot more effective. One, they need to be more specific in how they talk about themselves, how they talk about what they do, how they talk about the value they provide. And I'll get into that in more detail. Number two, I'd love to know more about who's behind the Digitella brand. As far as I can tell, it's two guys named Bob and Daniel. But it's really hard to find information on the Digitella website about those guys and why I should work with them. I'm going to talk about why I think it's important to have that information and where I think it can go. Number three is don't be afraid to write more. There's this conventional wisdom that you should write very little on the internet because people don't have that much of an attention span. I don't think this is true, and I'm going to outline why I think this is not true, and I'm going to show you an example of a firm who's doing a really good job of having a website with a with a 200-ish word sales pitch, and it doesn't feel long at all. So, with all that in mind, let's get into it and talk through some feedback for Digitella.